Welcome back. It's the Stay Out Your Lane podcast, and I'm host, Dr. Anissa Ferguson, who are joining us for the first time. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So I'm super excited to have you, one, and I'm even more excited about the guests that we have now. If you were on last week, I'm super excited that you came back this week because that means you just went through my whole rattle and going on and on, telling you all of Monifa's business before she even gets on the line, because we had a little technical difficulties, but we had some gems buried in there somewhere deep. So I'm super excited. Again, for those of you, this is your first time, I want to just kind of set the pace and let you know what you can expect every single week. So if it is your first time, I'm expecting you to come back. So there's 4 things typically that I try to tell everyone to make sure that they listen out for, that we're going to give you every single week. And so the first is what next? Is to make sure that you're going to get stories, not only of success, but also of those struggles that individuals face when they're really trying to climb from where they are to where they want to see themselves. And sometimes that's just all we need, to really hear and know that somebody's going through the same things or has gone through the same things that we're facing right now, right? So you're going to get that right here. The second thing that you're going to do is that we're going to offer you actionable to-dos. I tell you guys every single week, as motivational as I would like to be, that just wasn't my gift. God didn't do that for me. So I'm not a motivational speaker at all. I hope to motivate, but I'm not a motivational speaker. So we have work for you to do. So if it's your first time, grab a notebook, a pen and paper, and just make sure that you're ready for the end of the episode. Yes, you have to stay to the end to get all the work and all the deets so that you can make sure you implement all these things in your own life. And yes, I'm from New York, so I speak a little fast. And so is my guest. So you will have to slow us down from time to time. But we're just so excited. The third thing is why. We're going to ask you and get you to yield to the greatness that's inside of you that we already know. And last but not least, which is also the topic of our episode for today, is leverage. We are going to be talking about how you can use what you already have, because you got a lot of good stuff inside of you, to get to the place that you want to go. And bam, that's where we are today. Today's topic is leverage. The art of going from where you are and taking what you have to get where you want to be. And also, because this next guest is just amazing, how you can assign and earn your skills a salary. That's right. Go ahead and clap. Please put a 1 in the comments there if you want to know how to take your skills and get them a salary. Because I even need to, just kind of figure out some more ways to do that. Speaking, books, all kinds of things, right? Hey, Yvette, how are you? Let's get a temperature check and see who's in the room. Awesome. Thank you. Oh, is there a lot of feedback in them? Let me see if I can cut it down a little bit. Hopefully that'll be a little bit better. Thank you so much. So we have a few people. Everybody's scared to drop a 1. You don't want to see if you want to get your skills up some salary. That's all right. Well, we hope that you'll be able to loosen up as you're here. And when you get a chance, please share this Facebook Live when you get a chance. Because a lot of people that we have this, it's a Thursday, it's Friday Eve, it's starting to get a little warm outside. You may hear some people playing basketball outside my own house. But yeah, people will come back and they'll watch it and watch this video as many times as you need to. So please be sure to not just keep all the information to yourself, but share this Facebook Live. I see we have a few folks in the room, so thank you so, so much. All right, so without further ado, I know you guys, you love me and, you like to talk to me, but essentially we are here to introduce none other than Miss Monifa Drayton. And let me just tell you, if you're interested in stocks, if you're interested in golf, if you're interested in speaking, if you're interested in trying to figure out how to go through diversity and inclusion and all of those different things, like she really covers the full gamut. And so I'm just super excited to bring to you guys this phenomenal woman, just an amazing person inside and out. Let me just introduce Miss Monifa Drayton. Hey, Mo.
Hello, how are you tonight?
Good. It sounds a little low. You guys let me know. Can you hear? Because it still seems a little low, but I don't know if you guys can hear or not. All right, we're gonna roll with it. We're just gonna roll. How are you doing?
I am doing great. I am doing great. How's everything? I'm so excited for you in this. You look beautiful tonight too.
Oh, listen, I'm trying to hang with you, girl. Hey, look, everybody, we're all ready for summer. We all have spring clothes and flowers and everything. That's gorgeous as well.
Perk you up a bit. Give you some energy.
That's what I need. I always need a little energy. You know, it's funny, before we get into it, the one thing that I worried about when I started this podcast was I'm not really an extrovert. I'm probably, I think I mentioned that on the first episode, the most introverted extrovert you'll ever meet. But it's so good when you talk to people like yourself who are so welcoming and so comforting. It's just like you're talking to friends. And I really want this podcast, and it has been so far, really genuine conversation. And it's just like a casual chat with a friend, ultimately. Yeah, but you have so much. You have so much. You speak everywhere and to everybody. And so I'm excited to share you with our audience because there's so much that you have to offer. What I just want to dig right in, to be honest with you. I want to go and talk about your story so that we can get to a place where people are really understanding how to leverage the things that they already had. Because you told me a story, and I'm going to let you tell it, about when you were younger and you used to perform on stage and how that sort of transpired into something totally different than what your parents probably paid their good change for. Tell us about how you got started ultimately, and who is Monifa Drayton?
Okay, so now how I got started in the career, or just
your story, just sort of your background. And if you want, I can ask a more direct question. So as a child, because a lot of times it's hard for people to identify where they are at the moment to where they want to be. So a lot of times people can't see the skills and the traits that they innately already possess. And so this was one of the things that you already had inside of you. And like you said, it sort of matured in a way that you didn't quite know how. But once you got there, it was like, wow, this is why I was doing what I was doing this whole time. And so I'm excited because I think in hearing your story and how things have matured for you, people can really sit back and think and look like, all right, dang, maybe I can, look at this in a different way. And maybe this is something that I can work on. Because sometimes we work on our strengths. Our weaknesses so much. But all we really need to work on is our strengths.
Right. And I absolutely agree. So, okay, to go back as how I was as a child. So I think my parents, they are still surprised that I'm doing okay in life. So as a child, I was incredibly talkative. I was just always, and the irony is that I'm not really an extrovert. It's just when I felt like I had an audience, that's when I became an extrovert. And so I was always in the space of talking and laughing and distracting. And that was always my behavior and personality. What made it difficult for me, though, is I have 4 sisters, but I'm in between 2 who were always very, very scholastic, very smart, just really, really smart, the best students that you would ever want to have. So now I'm dead in the middle of those 2. So I had to just kind of do something different, which I chose to misbehave. And so I remember in high school, because I was always in detention. And so my detention teacher, we have become very close.
You were in detention
all the time. We're talking in class. We're talking and laughing and being a comedian in class. So I was always in detention. And she and I had actually, we have become very close. And so in that time, she pulled me to the side and she said, Mo, you are a leader. You are very much a leader. You just need to learn to use your evil powers for good. So that's
evil powers.
Evil powers. She said evil powers for good. You need to learn to use your evil powers for good. And I never forgot that. And she had actually become one of the most profound people in my career. So as I started to kind of move through college and landed in a career, that was always in the back of my mind. Use your leadership skills for good and not for evil. And not for evil. But that's what I've always done. So I do a lot of different things. I'm on boards and different committees. I've been in healthcare, a healthcare leader for many, many years now, for almost 20. I don't feel old enough to have been anywhere for 20 years, but 20 years, almost 20 years in healthcare. And then I also have a company where I teach leaders how to be leaders. And my company is called Lead Square.
Yes, and talking about Lead Square, girl, Lead Square is amazing. So for those of you who are not familiar, Monifa started Lead Square as an opportunity to speak to, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, to speak to different industries and to kind of go in and help them figure out why are people leaving this company, right? And I mean, this is somebody who's worked several years, you know, and I think about it, and, you know, you can write, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I could write a whole entire book and just let you guys know, like, why I just want to leave today and why you said what you said to me and how I feel discriminated against or whatever. Like, there are a plethora of things. Like, if you just sit people down, and I think that this is, there was a study done. People said that people would stay at the job, right? Even if it meant a pay cut, if they worked for people that they really liked and that treated them with respect.
Absolutely.
Is that true?
That's absolutely
I mean,
true.
I can see that. Like, I would rather take, if I could afford to, take a pay cut if that meant that I was going to be with somebody that I felt always had my back, was, you know, supportive, and also was really, like, I feel like they were there for me, versus a toxic environment, but they were paying me top dollar. Do you see that a lot when you go out to speak to companies?
Absolutely, absolutely. So I do a lot of speaking in different settings and in different environments. But when I'm doing consulting work, usually I'm called in to be a consultant to do what I like to call clean up the dysfunction. That's what I do. I go into companies and I clean it up for them, and I figure out what is not working, where do they need to get to, what is their current state and their future state. So we talk about a lot of different things with the ultimate goal of being better team, having teammate engagement, having better working relationships, better processes, a lot of different things. But you are exactly right. So a lot of times people will take a pay cut if they enjoy going to work. And a lot of times when a person is perhaps in a very micromanaged environment, or if it's a discriminatory environment, they'll leave. And what people don't understand is it's cheaper to keep an employee versus to have high turnover. So, and also when you get into
like marriage, honey.
Right, exactly.
It's cheaper to keep or keep him.
And that's exactly what it is. Because if you train somebody, you hire them, it's all of these things. By the time you do all of that, you've lost a lot of time and money. So with Lead Square, that's what we do. We go in and we clean up the dysfunction.
Wow. Well, look, for the folks that are on the line and whoever is watching, I want to make sure that you guys have Monifa's information. We're going to put it down in the box below, because if you are looking or working for a company and you feel like a lot of that tension and whatever, Monifa can come in and basically
clean it out.
What you want to tell them, but in a nice way.
Absolutely.
So make sure, yeah, remember Lead Square. But we're going to post the information down below so that way you guys, I mean, she's for hire. She travels. She's wherever she needs to be. So yes, indeed. But now, I don't want to transition too fast because you have a lot, and I want to make sure that we unpack everything. That's going to take a lot because Monifa, you know, you have businesses on businesses on businesses, which is amazing, and it's beautiful because you are doing it flawlessly, you know. But that's just one of the things that I wanted to make sure that we talk about, because a lot of times, you know, people find themselves in a situation just like that, right? Where Monifa Drayton does not exist, and people don't feel like they're being, you know, invested in, or that their bosses or their supervisors are taking the time to really invest in them, right? Whether that means actually having somebody come in or just invest in time to really understand what's going on, if there is something going on. People are turning to entrepreneurship like crazy, right? You know, I mean, I have a few businesses, you have a few businesses that are just flourishing. And so I want to talk a little bit about that, because like I said, you have gone from doing this like sort of on the side, but it's really taking over, and you are landing some major clients and doing a lot of things. We're going to even just talk about, we haven't even gotten into like podcasting and all of the other amazing things that you do, but it's coming because I want to share that with them as well. But just talk a little bit about those who are trying to have their hand in entrepreneurship and some of the work that you've put in to really solidify some of those major clients that you solidify. And not even just major clients, like even some of the smaller deals, the things that got you there. Let's talk a little bit about that and how you've done that, because I want to make sure that we have these actionable to-dos, right? That people are learning exactly the steps that they need to take, at least to get them started. So how did you get started from saying, all right, I got this mouth, I got to go ahead and I got to turn my evil powers for good, like you say, and then make sure that we're putting this in a position to actually make some money off of the things that you do anyway, that you do well.
Well, see, and I think, so the most important thing is what is your passion? I never chase money. And that's what I always tell people, whether it's my career in healthcare or whether it was my own personal job, I never chased a dollar. But what happened was when I was walking in my passion and in my purpose, at all times, the money followed me. And so that would be the first thing that I would say. Don't people like to do these, get rich schemes and these things that they think will be a quick dollar. Very seldom will those work. And whenever I am in my space of teaching for Lead Square, or I'm doing one-on-one coaching, I never feel like I'm at work. And sometimes I have to be very careful because I love it so much. I would do it for free. And I'm like, come on back for another session. I don't just don't worry about it, because it's my passion. So I have to pull back on generosity when it comes to business because I love it so much. So the first thing I would say, if you are considering being an entrepreneur, make sure that you have the time and you have the patience and you have the, I would definitely say that you got to have a tough exterior, because you'll get some no's, and you'll get some no's, and you'll hear some, no, we don't need your service, or you're not doing it right. So I would say you have to have some tough skin. Also be prepared. Now this is going to sound harsh, but it's the truth. Be prepared for your biggest supporters not to be family or friends.
Listen,
that's the honest truth.
Let's drop the bombshell. Let's just pause right there, because that is so true. I have heard it so many times. And if you think about it, and if for those of you who may not have heard, Monifa said that you have to be prepared for those who you love, your friends, your family, the people that you used to, run and play jump rope with and hang out in clubs. Yeah. Those people may not be your client.
Right. You may not even share a Facebook post that you need them to share. You may just need, hey, can you put my company on your Facebook? Can you just hit the share? And sometimes that doesn't even happen. So
I know we talk all about Jay-Z all week. Somebody posted, about Jay-Z. He's the first billionaire. Okay, I'm happy for him. But you got 12 friends that have a small business, and you may not want to buy or use any of their services yourself, but there are people out there, right, who may really need that person's services. And so, you know what? I think that's just a good place for me to just ask you guys right now to share this Facebook Live, because people need to know what Monifa is saying, and it may not be you. That's all right. You may catch this on the replay, but somebody is really having a hard time at work. Somebody really just barely got through this week. Let's just keep it 100. A lot of people barely got through this week because of something that's going on at the office. It may be that they're contemplating going out on their own, right, and trying to start their own business. Or there's somebody who says, I don't want my own business, because it's not for everybody. And Monifa, that's what you're saying. It's not for everybody, but for those who it's for, and you want to stay working, you want to be happy. But for those who are stepping out there, just know that the people that you care about the most may not be where you want them to be when you want them to be there.
Absolutely.
So that's really key, Monifa. Thank you for that.
Oh, no problem. And that's what I found is, the biggest supporters I have honestly have come from strangers or Facebook, people who I have never met in my life. They're sending me clients, or they'll read something I posted on Facebook, and I'll get my clients there, or they'll refer me to someone. So it has been a very eye-opening experience. When I first started, my feelings were hurt, and I thought, I'm there for everybody. But then I had to come to this realization. My vision is not everybody's vision to understand, because if it was, then it would be their vision. So I've had to just disconnect from that feeling, and I'll still be there for you. And if you're going to be there for me, great. If not, okay. So I would say just make sure you are following your passion.
Yes.
Secondly, I would say don't chase money. Let the money chase you, because the money will come. When I got my first check from Lead Square, I was like, oh my gosh, I got all of this just for talking for an hour. Like, what? So
yes.
It was incredible, because I was enjoying myself. So, and I went back, I called my mom and I said, Mom, I'm reclaiming my time. All that time you put me on punishment for talking too much, I'm reclaiming my time. I am reclaiming time today. So like I said, so those would be the things I say. Follow your passion. Don't chase the dollar. Don't look for your closest friends and family to be your supporters, because that might not happen.
Yes.
Have confidence in what you're doing. If you can't sell yourself to yourself, then you're not going to be able to sell to anybody else. So, and then the last thing I would say, always follow through and follow up, because, unfortunately, sometimes in our community, and I want to just veer and say in our community, sometimes we get a bad rap for not being, we have that stereotype already attached to us that, you might not want to work with her because she's a minority and she might have subpar business. And so you're already, as an entrepreneur, fighting this type of feeling that, this stereotype. So to fight that stereotype, you've got to be the exact opposite of the stereotype. So follow through, follow up, and be of quality. Be of very professional quality.
Yeah, that's awesome. You dropped about 10 gems. I hope you guys are really clocking and putting this down, because of so many things that Monifa said is really key to taking you from where you are to where you want to be. And a lot of times people get caught up and say, oh, well, I need an action step. I need, yes, that's great. And we're going to get there. But a lot of the transformation that takes place when you're really trying to figure out what works for you, like Monifa said, what are your passions? What are your things, the things that your purpose to do and that you're really purpose here to be, and align yourself with all of that stuff. I mean, it starts with the mindset. And a lot of people think it's like, it's cliche, but it really and truthfully is not, because fast money spends fast. Big money spends fast. That's what I've always heard. If you get a big check, but you don't have the mindset to say, all right, let me invest 50% of this back into my business. Let me take another 20% and, if you believe in tithing, tithe, for me. And whatever that thing is for you, you're going to turn around and spend all your money on something that's going to be here today, gone tomorrow. And that's one of the hugest things that we don't do. Typically. Right. Yeah. And then ourselves.
Right. You have to be disciplined. And I would also say network. Surround yourself, because as you become deeper and deeper in your entrepreneurial path, you will start to find that really the only people you want to talk about or talk to really or spend a lot of time with are people who are entrepreneurs doing business. You start like less and less wanting to do like the hang out with everybody, hang out with friends, things like that. You start to want to do less and less of that because you become so passionate about your job. But then on the same your business. But I would say on the same side, always keep a balance. Always keep a balance, because I can work for 48 hours straight. I always say there's only one person who probably will outwork me, and that is Diddy. That's the only person that might outwork me, but I can work for 48 hours straight. So I have to be very mindful to take care of myself, which is exercise, eat right, and drink my gallon of water a day. And at least try. I try.
Look, I'm trying. I gotta get there.
I keep balance. I definitely keep balance. So.
Yeah, no, I have got to get there. But that's really important, though. Sometimes people do feel like you have to grind. But I do believe sometimes in grace over grind. If you're doing things the right way and you're working, and we talked about this in a couple episodes ago, about being strategic and being intentional, even the people that you surround yourself with the investments that you make, hopefully some are into yourself. And we're, as a community culture, we're doing better, but we don't typically think that if we're investing in ourselves, that that's a good investment, right? And when I say invest in ourselves, yes, coaching, counseling, all of those things are great. But even just stopping to say, like you said, let me drink a glass of water. Let me have a salad. Let me relax my mind. Let me go for a massage. It's okay. Because we have all of this grace for everybody else. We rarely have grace for ourselves. Right? I have a friend that she always says that. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with others, but be patient with yourself. And it took me a while to really kind of get that in my psyche. But it's so important to really think about how we treat ourselves. Because if you empty your well, you have nothing to pour out to anybody else.
Right. That's true. That's absolutely true. Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, so Mo, I'm going to just dig a little bit deeper, and I'm going to get into some of the other things that you do, because I don't want people to think that like Lee Square is it, but Lee Square does have it's multifaceted. It's like a small teeny piece, and I want to dig into that because there are people that are watching that will watch on the replay who are really trying to get a lot of things going, and it's just like anything, and I want to encourage them with your story because it's just like anything. You don't want to have all your eggs in one basket, right? Because you just never know as you're finding yourself and as you're identifying your passions, things can be all over the place, right? And that's why we talk about staying out your lane, right? Because I just don't believe in being pigeonholed. You just never know where your blessing is going to come. And so with that, I want to talk a little bit about your podcast. right? So Monifa is also hosts a podcast every single week with her co-host, and she has some other great things that are coming out. Manos is getting ready to explode. Manos is a podcast that Monifa is starting that talks about a plethora of different things, and we're going to also post that so that you guys can plug into her and really get all your needs met, right? Because we're sort of niche here, but she really does talk about a lot of things, and so. Let us know about the podcast because you recently made 1 year.
Yeah.
1 year, right? And that's so exciting because we talked about this before. How many podcasts do people typically have before they call it quits? It's like 15 or 16 or something like that.
Well, actually, I heard it was 10. People usually don't get past 10. And
what?
A podcast because it is, you've got to come up with content all of the time. And you've got to, if you have guests, you've got to arrange for guests. And it's a lot that goes into it and a lot of work that goes into it. If you want it, now I see a lot of people, not knocking what other people are doing, but, trying to grab a microphone, grab their laptop and they just shoot the breeze. That's fine. But, for me, I need things to be a little more prescriptive. So with the podcast, the podcast is called Between Love and Hate. And each week I come up with different topics, relationship-based topics, where we talk about love, sex, marriage, divorce. We talk about everything.
Yeah.
Being single and dating. We talk about everything. And,
yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Sometimes we go way to the left on it. I know.
I laugh so hard at you two. And folks, this is not just for singles. This is for married couples as well. I mean, we talk about so many things, and I just sit back and laugh because the engagement you have with the audience is just priceless.
Well, thank you. And that's what I love. I love that so many people say, married people, they'll say, oh, I love the podcast. I love the show and all of these things. And it's been very interesting because at first people were like, well, how are you going to talk to me about a relationship when you're not married and all of these things or these types of things. But, people are people, communication is communication, sex is sex, all of it. So if there's no, you can talk about anything. And then we have such an incredible audience that chimes in and they talk as well. And so I always do a lot of research on the shows before we do the shows, just so I can make sure that I have a really good script prepared for number one, but also just so I'm knowledgeable on the topic. So we do a lot and we have a great time with it. We definitely have a great time. And I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot about guys and how guys think. So
I've learned a lot, honey. I've been married 10 years this year and I just laugh because I'm like, what? People think this way, they think that way. The podcast is just amazing. And like I said, I'm really excited to see you launch the second one because the content that you give is very much like what I try to also present, like things that are hardcore that people can actually get a takeaway and have something that they can do. And it's amazing because when I was getting ready to do this, I looked at your podcast and I talked to you, had an opportunity to talk with you and you were so gracious about that. And I thought it was really key because, when you turn around, everybody has a podcast these days. Right. But the content that you give, I think that's what really makes people stay because every week I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Wednesday. I have to make sure I chime in to see what Mo and Dre are talking about. And so I'm always really encouraged. There's also another thing about that I want to pull out and I want to get your input on. Because as we talk about leverage and we talk about, starting where we are to get where we want to be, talk about some of the advantages of having a podcast, some of the things that you have been able to do. I know that some new things have arisen for you. How to do the podcast, and some of those things may be, like sponsorship. So you're able to get money that way is one way, not get money, but you're able to have some kind of, reach some benefits, if you will, from the podcast in that way, financial as well as networking and all these other things. So tell us a little bit about what Between Love and Hate and Mo Knows, those two podcasts that you have, how they have helped you to sort of leverage and to gain, more than what you started with, if you will.
Right. So this whole podcast journey has been very, very exciting. So last month, we did a live remote. We did a live podcast. And during that time...
Now what's a live podcast for those who don't know? Because, I just want to make sure everybody's on the same page.
So we were doing a live show. And so we were it was Queen City Podcasting Network. They were hosting a whole weekend of podcasting at a coffee shop. And it was a part of a larger citywide festival. So this was one thing that they were doing across the city. And so during that time, I had the opportunity to speak with someone else who I hadn't seen him in 20 years, but he has a phenomenal background in radio and television. And so he asked me, he said, I didn't know that you were podcasting. And he told me this situation that occurred. And he said, can you fill in for this other person?
Wow.
And I said, well, when? He said, tomorrow. I was like, okay.
Tomorrow.
But listen, that is the theme of my life, though. I just go. Like, when people give me an opportunity, I never think twice. I'm like, let's just go. Like, I'm in. Okay.
Yes.
So I did that. So I had the chance to do a podcast, to do 2 different podcasts on 2 different days, totally different subject, different people. And so when the podcast, the president of this Queen City Network, when he saw that, he asked, he said, hey, I've watched you do 2 different podcasts on 2 different topics. I really, really enjoyed, like, your energy and your personality. Yeah. I'd like to do something additional with you. And I was like, absolutely. I don't even know what the additional is. But okay.
Right. Sign me up. Thank you.
So we're working through some things. So that was really, really exciting. And then just the Manos podcast, it really focuses primarily on, it's not relationships. And I would never talk about relationships on another podcast because I already do that. But we talk about a wide range of things that impact women every single day. So our first show will be in a couple of weeks, and we're going to talk about miscarriage, because miscarriage is such a, I don't know why if people treat it like it's something shameful or secret. And 1 out of 4 women have had a miscarriage before. So so it is a very common thing that people hide about, and they hide it, they're ashamed about it, they don't want to tell people, and they suffer in silence. So that's actually going to be our first, and as well as men as well. Men are also, we think that men aren't hurt by miscarriages when the baby is, planned. They're just as devastated. So we're talking about
imagine.
We're talking about it all.
Right. Wow. Well, that is really awesome. And I appreciate your transparency with that. Like you were saying earlier, and one of your main points was that when you're not chasing the money, it comes, right? When you're not chasing all that, you were just operating in your gifting. You were talking about different things. And one of the things I can say about you, and I know we talked about this and you didn't mention it just now, but once you got that invitation to do the podcast, and this is pivotal for a lot of people who are listening and who are watching, once you got the information, you immediately went into research mode.
Yes.
Like you stayed up literally all night, like doing a lot of research and really making sure that you were knowledgeable about what you were talking about. And see, a lot of people, look, somebody here is watching, they're going to watch a replay. I'm just going to put it out there. You are not about the life, right? Like you have to really put in the work. It's like not a game. You make it look easy when you're on here and you're talking and you're spitting all these wonderful nuggets. But the truth of the matter is, your housewives or whatever are going to come on at 9:00. But can you forego your housewives so you can get your work done?
Forego housewives, you forego sleep, you forego food, you forego time with friends, you forego a relationship at times. Like you forego a whole lot of things in order to perfect whatever you're doing. And that's what I'm saying. If you want to do this, you have to be about that life. You have to be able to like turn things down. You can't be at everything. You can't go to everything. You can't watch every reality show that comes on. Yesterday was the first day in a long time I watched television because it was just one show that I really, really wanted to see that I just love. And so that was the first time in a long time I've even watched TV. So you're about the life. If you're not, don't go out there.
No, seriously, it's a lot of commitment, and it's not even just for entrepreneurs. It's for anybody. If you have a goal, if there's things that you're trying to do, like the topic of the podcast, if you want to really look at your skill set and say, how can I make something happen? That's research time.
Yeah.
A lot of people, you can think about it. You get up at what time? I don't know. I got up at 3:30 this morning, but that's just me. Right. I wish I could show you guys my sheet from this morning. It was like 4:00 to 4:15 was my prayer time. 4:30, then it was write emails. 5:00 it was make sure that I actually sent the emails, plan for the lives, do certain things that I need to do in the office. Like it's not a game, you know, and I say that because a lot of people say, well, I don't want to be an entrepreneur. Everybody's not going to be an entrepreneur. You're right. Because not everybody's about that, but it's not even about just stepping out on your own to have a career.
Right.
It's about what steps do you need to take to get where you need to go. And I think that that's one thing that if I can impress upon anybody and hearing your story as well, is that there's a lot that you don't see. It's just like an iceberg, right? There's so much at the bottom that you don't see, but you couldn't get to the top if you didn't have that foundation underneath you.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and it's so much at the bottom. Let me see, we have a few folks in here now. Sandra, hello, how are you? Welcome to the podcast. You guys, if you have questions specifically for Monifa, I ask that you guys add it to the comment box, because while we have her, because she's always super busy. She was just on a TCOM before we got on. So let's make sure that we get these questions out, because she's doing so many phenomenal things. She can really tell you these building blocks that she went through to get where she is. And so, yeah, so we talked about that. We talked about your speaking, right, as far as your own business and your consulting. We also talked about, excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm a little cold. We talked about the podcast and how that has expanded and how you've been able to get sponsorships and how you've been able to really expand into other podcasts and other networks because of what you've done. I also want to talk about one of your passions, right? Because like I said, you always say, you're not chasing the money, but it's so many things that you do and you do well. I'm just going to be honest. You know, I'm not flattering you but you really execute very, very well. And that's a big thing, to execute. Hi, Berkshire. Thank you for being on. We appreciate you. But one of the things that you do as well is that you have a passion for women and you have a passion for education. And I want you to talk about two things that one major thing that you've done that has a huge implication, like across the board for your Lead Square, which is the Stiletto Business Collective. Yeah. And I want you to talk about that because one, it's just super fly. It sounds so great. And you guys have done so much. Okay. Tell people what it is and some of the things that you've done, because I have been completely floored. I wish I lived in Charlotte so I could take advantage of more of the things that you do for women. But yeah, we're going to have to get you in DC.
Okay, I'm always there. I love DC. I love DC.
Yeah, so tell people about the Stiletto Business Collective, because people need to know, like, some people are speaking on it. These are some options that they can have.
Absolutely. So with the Stiletto Business Collective, it falls under Lead Square. And what it is our very specific, it is a very focused curriculum, classes, sessions, things that women need to support their corporate goals, their career goals, their business goals. And so we do a lot of different things to really, just to really help round out women as they move through careers and entrepreneurship and things like that. And it's not just classes and sessions, because, for example, what we've done a couple of times is we've offered golf lessons, a 6-week golf sessions. And the reason I thought that was important is because golf has been very impactful in my life, in my career, because when I didn't play, I was honestly excluded. And I know some people think that that's a myth, but it's really not a myth. My male colleagues will go and play all of the time. I would stay in the office, and that's one thing women do that we must stop doing. We will outwork anyone, and we don't network. So then we work, we don't network. And that is our downfall a lot of time, because people get hired, people get promoted based on relationships. They don't care if you're the smartest one at the table. They want to know that they'll like you. So we did this 6-week session golf lessons. And so we do a lot of different things to help round out women in business. And that the 6-week sessions, they were a blast. We had a great time. But for me, I always thought golf was boring, but it wasn't. I didn't care at a certain point if it was boring or not, because I have to learn, because they're going out, every Thursday and Friday, going to play, leaving work early. I'm here working. And then they're coming back on Monday with new information that I don't even know about.
Because they made all the deals on the golf course.
Yeah, they created all this conversation. I'm coming back on Monday. I've been working. Now I'm behind. And so I just went lessons. And then that week came when they said, Mo, we're going to play. I said, I'm going to. And I had my little golf clubs.
I know they were surprised you toting your bag.
Surprised and angry, but I'm here.
Listen, I told you, I'm going to give me some of the pants. The pants are cute.
Yeah, and you gotta be cute on it.
I don't know what I'm going to do on the court, but I'm just going to be out there. I'm going to drive the cart, whatever I need to do to get out there. But you are so right. And I actually posted what you said. I'm going to show it again. Don't overwork and not network. Like, it's okay to get all the stuff done that you need to do. And I think this is really powerful because, like you said, women, men, that we will work ourselves to the bone. And then you turn around, you're exhausted. But just calm it down, relaxing, go and have some time with your colleagues, really find out more about them, having some organic conversation, and really just trying to see where the conversation leads. And just making relationships. It's not all about generating funds and doing all that, because all, like you said, that will come. You know, that's something that I know we're a little late to the party, right? But granted, we weren't invited, like you mentioned. We're inviting ourselves. We don't want to whisper. We want to yell. Like, that's just who we are, right? We want to be known and we want to be seen, but we have to be in the places where it's happening.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, and I think that as people are watching, these are one of the main things that, you know, we have to really look at and think about, okay, how can we be intentional, be strategic about the things that we do outside of our work or our businesses, if we're entrepreneurs or even if you're part entrepreneur. These are some things that are really, really important. And I think we have a question, Monifa, too.
We do, and we do have a question, but I want to say this, because you're exactly right about when you mentioned, you know, you've got to be in that space. You've got to be in the spaces. You've got to network. You've got to connect. I'll tell you something that I do, and I've gotten a lot of business doing this. So,
give it to us, Mo.
So normally I don't, as long as I had a window seat on the plane, I'm fine. But what I started doing is sitting in first class. So I have to spend more for my ticket. But I have met so many clients sitting in first class because, you know, and I'll be honest, my services are not, you know, not cheap. So you want to pay, you know, if you want quality, you got to pay for quality. So you got to pay for quality. Yeah, you got to pay for quality. And so so even though I've spent, you know, I have to spend an extra $500 or whatever on a plane ticket to sit in first class, I've gotten so much more back out of that, way more than I spent on the first class ticket. So as an entrepreneur, put yourself in an environment where you can network with people who can help get you to the next level. And I do see Berkshire's comment, how'd you put away your introverted personality to become an extrovert? Honestly, Berkshire, I am still an introvert. And so I'll tell you this, when I have to be an extrovert all day long, I'll come home and I am exhausted. I don't want to talk. Like, it's almost like I go into a shell. And I was thinking yesterday, I was like, golly, if I had children, they would be so neglected probably, because I come home and I'm like, I can't talk. I need quiet at least for an hour, because being an extrovert and being on it, now when I'm with my friends or people I'm familiar with, I can be an extrovert all day and I love it. But being in a room full of people who I don't know or having to introduce myself to strangers, it is exhausting. It is exhausting. So Berkshire, I'm still an introvert, but I look at, okay, Mo, you in order to eat, you've got to be an extrovert. So when you get hungry and you really want something, you're gonna make it happen. You're gonna make it happen. And
that is awesome. Yeah,
I'll be honest with you, how stressful it can be for me, especially walking into a networking event. I'll go into the bathroom before I go into a networking event, go into a stall, and I have to talk myself into coming out of the bathroom. And I'll just sit in there. I hate it that much. Wow. I'll sit in there and I'm like, okay, Mo, this is what you can do. Now you can stay in this, you can go home and go home hungry, or you can come out here, put your show on and do what you do and get some business. But that also comes from, you know, I studied classical music from the time I was about 6 years old. I played instrumental music, played an instrument. My life. So being, you know, having to get on stage, you got to know how to turn it on really, really quickly. So you go on stage, do what you do, and then go back behind the curtain and be yourself. So
yeah, so look, I'm laughing because most people can't get to the event. Monifa got to the event and said, okay, hold on. Hold on. I ain't really here yet. Like, I'm not ready if I'm going to show up or not.
I got to get ready. So I'm sitting in the bathroom stall like, all right, Mo. It's like coaching myself through it. Like, Mo, let's go. Like, you got to, if you want this money, you go home hungry. At least, you know.
I mean, that's a good way to look at it. If you got to pay for first class, I'm just saying.
Look, girl, and sometimes the first class tickets, I'm like, so wait, now what? Now, so I'll tell you what happens when I do pay for my first class ticket. You better believe I'm getting my peanuts, my chips, my water, my champagne. I'm in first class asking for everything I can get. Give me 2 blankets, and do I have to give you
Give me everything you came with.
everything? Don't give me 1 bag of chips. I want 4 bags of chips. And I'm putting them in my purse. Like, let me take some extra with me.
That is hilarious. That is so funny. Wow. So, but you know what? That really fits your personality. Honestly, I would not have known it. Oh my gosh, hold on. Berkshire says he thought it was just him. No. We did everything that we came for, okay? Every single thing. I need everything you have, 2 of them.
Absolutely.
Give me 2. Yeah, thank you. I see also Tiffany's in the room. Thank you, Tiffany, for joining us, guys. I want to know anybody else has a question, because I'm just like so grateful again to have you here.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah, and one of the things that we talked about last week, I feel like I told your whole story, while you were not there, because we had all these difficulties. So I was just giving up all the good stuff. But basically, one of the things that we talked about, and I'm going to really leave this as our actionable to do, at least to get people started, is that when you're thinking about the things that make you happy, the things that you want to do, or what things that you want to do, you want to think about the things that make you happy, right? Your purpose, your passion, all of these good nuggets that you talked about, making sure that you're not following the dollar, but that the dollar will come when you are inherently being who you are, and that you're just leading with a purpose, and that you're really trying to deliver, and that you're trying to serve. As a believer, that's one of the main things that I feel is important. When you go into something with the intention to serve other people, all of your needs will be met, regardless, over and above, abundantly, right? Overflowing. Right. So this is the action we'll do for today. And so I want you guys, and those of you who were on last week, you probably already started, but I wanted you guys to list your dreams. And Monifa was very big on this, making sure that you are honing in on the dreams that you have. Back when you were the child that was on stage, right? I talked about this last week. My daughter did her very first play. And I was really excited because, when you go into that space, you can see the kids who are, my daughter's only 8, but you can see the kids that are like serious about it. And then you can see the other kids who are, they're excited, they're having a good time, they're learning about things, they're staying out their lane, which is totally beautiful and good. But you have to go back to that place.
Yes.
The place where you had those dreams, right, Mo? Like when you were just free without inhibitions, and you could just really think about, all the things you want to do. If you want to sing a song in the closet, or if you wanted to go and dance, and you wanted to play the flute, or you want to tap dance, double dutch, sing out loud, whatever it is, I want you to really take your time, get your notebook out, and list those things. List at least 5 things, even if you think they're silly and they're small. And Monifa, feel free to jump in and give me, some feedback on this, but write those things down. And then I want you to think about the things that Monifa has said today. How can you maximize even something small, like sitting next to, maybe you may not be in first class, right? Whatever class coach, even if you're on a bus, if you're on a train, wherever you are, where you find yourself in a place with other people, and if you notice there's anything small where you can identify with them, start a conversation, a small conversation. It could be something small like, oh, wow, your jacket looks amazing, Monifa. Wow. What is it that you do exactly? Right. And you start to really think about, how can I pull those dreams in with this conversation? Like, how can I mold it around this? And there's something you said earlier, Mo, that was really important. Sometimes you get to the point where all you want to do is be around and talk with people who are doing the things that you're doing.
Right.
Right. And I think they always say your network is your net worth.
Yes.
Do you agree with that? Is that true?
I absolutely agree with that. Because, as you go to different levels, and this doesn't mean, you start cutting everybody off who's not doing it. It's that you will naturally change and evolve. And it's a very organic process. So those people who are in your life who are good people, you keep them close, keep them connected, because, even if they're not supporting you in one way, as an entrepreneur, or even just in life, you need somebody who you can trust to hold your emotions for you sometimes. So so I'm not saying cut people off and all of that, but you will organically, it is a very organic shift that starts to happen. So yes, always surround yourself with people who, keep your close people, your circle, your close folks that love you, whether you keep those people, but your network will absolutely change. Absolutely.
Wow, that's powerful. I feel that with everything, even just starting a podcast. I had not known anybody directly outside of yourself who had started one. And when I was looking, like I said, I was always so keen on, okay, like, how is Monifa pulling this together? How is she making it work? And because we are somebody we keep in touch with one another, that encouraged me. It let me know that I could stay out of my lane in that way because I had seen it done. It was inspiring to me. And now we're at a place where hopefully we'll be able to impact a whole lot of other people. And those who are watching and who will watch on the replay, some of those people will start podcasts as well. And maybe it's because of us, or maybe it's just a reinforcement just to say, I can do it. You know, like I said, I'm always an advocate of staying out your lane so that you can command your life's highway. You don't know where that thing will come in or what that thing will be to really take you to the next place. And so I just believe if we do that, if we're intentional, you know, that the things that are inside of you that need to come out, they will just organically happen, just like you mentioned. So yeah, so that really is today's actionable to do. To make a list of at least 5 things that you have done in or thought about or dreamed about in your life, and think about the skills that you have that match up with that, right? You know, when you start thinking about the environments that you find yourself in, the people that surround you who are doing the things that you want to do, or people who are in your environment that you can just kind of slowly start to feel your way in your comfortable place with them, and how you can use that to really transform some of the things that you're doing. Because I see a couple of people that are on the line right now, and there's a friend of mine that's on. She's from Detroit. She moved to New York, and she started her own healthcare system, like a whole healthcare aid for older people, you know, out of need. But it's because of her heart. It's what she wants to do. But that wasn't what she did originally. You know, so I see you on there. Drop a 1 if you guys have ever just dreamed a dream, you know, and start to pursue it in a way that causes you to stay outside of your lane, because it's so important. And I know when we started this, people were like, what? Stay out of your lane? What does that even mean? It means not being inhibited. It means being free to think, being free to dream, being free to do the things that you want to do, because you don't know until you try.
Right. And then can I add to that though? Because usually when I'm coaching, when I'm doing individual coaching, we do go down a path of discussing dreams, because a lot of times what you dreamt that you want it to be, usually it's still there. That's something that never dies. Mm-hmm. So what I always like people to do is list your dream, also list your barriers, because your barriers to get to that dream, because that is what always, that if you don't address those barriers and understand how they will sabotage your dream, you will not reach your dream. So I'll give you an example. If you say, okay, I want to lose 10 pounds, and you don't think about everything that's going to get in the way, you've got to create a strategy to stop the barriers. You have to. So if I say, okay, I'm going to lose 10 pounds, that's it. I'm not thinking about the fact that I'm a foodie. I'm not thinking about the fact that, you know, when anybody calls and says, Mo, meet me uptown for a martini, I'm like, yes. And I get martinis. I'm not thinking about the fact that I have a crazy schedule. So you have to also address the barriers too, and create a strategy. How will these barriers not impact my dream, me reaching my dream? So I would say also do that. You've got to have have your dreams and identify those barriers. Create strategies so the barriers won't stop you.
That is awesome. That is awesome. That was really, really powerful. I think you dropped so many nuggets, girl. I don't even know. But I think
what your dreams are on here.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Can we see what people on here, what their dreams are?
Yeah, please.
Okay,
guys, so those of you who are watching, and even if you watch on a replay, can you guys drop inside the comment box? Just give us at least one dream. Berkshire says he is all over the highway. I'm with you. Listen, you guys have heard the intro. I said there are not enough lanes for me, period, with a T at the end. Period. Period.
I love that. And so am I. As soon as somebody says I can't do something, then I'm like, or if somebody says my idea is ridiculous, because as an entrepreneur, people will tell you that. So as soon as that's another lane I'm jumping in. I'm like, okay, let me get in that one too. So
absolutely. Yeah, I heard someone say, it may have something I read. They said great dreams are also great threats sometimes, because people feel threatened by the great dreams and things that you have. So I've heard this tons of times, like if you have big dreams, that you have to surround yourself with people who are going to dream big with you. And you also can't be afraid of it. You know what I'm saying? You have to be willing, like I said, put that time in. Whatever it is that you don't know a lot about, take the time, put in a sweat equity. Like I said, I'm up most mornings. Well, I know I can text you at 5 o'clock when you're up.
And up live, up and live, looking for lunch.
I know you are up. Like when this is over, I'm just going to pass out. Seriously, because I've been up since 3:30. But that's just my life. But it's certain things that I want to do. Let's see. We have some folks on here who are really telling us what it is that they want. So let's put some of this up because we can kind of go into that. Yvette says she wants to paint.
I love that.
Yes, I love it too.
I love that.
Wait a minute. Are you guys being shy? Seriously? Like, I thought we were friends by now. Like, we have shared, we have done all of this. I need you guys to let us know what some of your dreams are. But most importantly, like, even if you decide that you don't necessarily want to drop it here, no, because this is also inspiring other people. So, you know, get outside your lane. I already talked to you guys about this. Somebody's waiting on your yes. Somebody is waiting for you to say yes to your calling so that they can step into their calling. And this is very real. This is very real. Like I said, I may or may not have chosen to do a podcast had I never seen Monifa do hers. And now she's expanding and she's exploring. She's a forerunner and she's forging new paths just by following her heart, right? So we're here together because she chose to say yes. The same is true for yourself. And I know sometimes it's hard for us to feel like that's true, but it really and truthfully is. You know, like, you know, writing the books and doing all the things, like I said, that were not at all on my radar, were not things that I wanted to do or even had a vision of doing, but they came and been able to bless other people. So I'm excited about that.
Right.
David. Hey, David, thank you for joining. I really appreciate that. To be global and stay global.
Why not? Why not?
Right. We don't dream big enough. Seriously. Thank you for that, David. Because you know what? I think a lot of times we really truthfully don't think big enough. We always play small. And I'm sorry, you know, I'm a God girl. So I feel like a lot of times what God has for us and what we're looking at is totally different. Right. You know, for ourselves, we're here. And he's like, but I got it all. You know, I got it all. So we don't always do that.
Right. When you give your dream, you think that you got this big dream and you give it to God and you say, this is my dream. And his response is always, no, bigger.
Bigger. Bigger.
And so that's what the rest of 2019 has to be about. Whatever you're dreaming, hold that dream and now bigger.
Now bigger. I love it. I'm going to post that. Yes. Bigger. Yes. So that is awesome. So listen, to get all about how to reach out to Monifa, because she also does private one-on-one coaching. Yes. So if you enjoy what you've heard and you really want to dig deeper, to talk more about those barriers, to talk about really digging into those dreams and the things that you have buried inside of you, I want to make sure that you go over to our website, stayoutyourlane.com, because we have her information on there and you guys can go and you can follow her and you can get in contact with her there through the website. And she's able to help you individually. She's able to come to your company. So you have to make sure you're letting your employers know that she's out here at Lead Square Inc. LLC. I'm sorry, Lead Square LLC. Ladies, she also has a Stiletto Business Collective, which we talked about, which runs a full gamut. We didn't even get in, really just touch the surface of some of the things that she does. Like we said, golf, stocks, bonds. I mean, she has tons of different courses and activities for women. Also, and not just women, because I think you've also done one with men, or it hasn't come up. So just want to get plugged into the things that she's doing, especially if you're in the Charlotte area. Although she's all over the place. She was posting pictures of Cuba last week. So listen, she's everywhere. But she also has an amazing podcast on Wednesday nights, same time as we start here, but on Wednesdays. So check that out. It's between love and hate, and I'm not sure exactly what day of the week, but just continue to follow her. She's Monos_100 on Instagram. And so if you can follow her there, you know, did I say it right? Yes.
So it's Monos _100 on both Instagram and Facebook.
Okay, good. Okay. So let me put that right here so people can see it. Yes.
And listen, can I pause for Berkshire and Lene? Berkshire said he's facing the issue of completely taking that leap, straddling the fence of entrepreneurship and continue to work. He's a consultant as well. Hey, Candace. Candace is an entrepreneur as well. She owns a fantastic CJ Wax studio. So she's gonna get you. She's gonna get your skin and your body smooth. She's gonna get it all smooth.
Listen, that's self-care we talked about.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes, thank you. Congratulations, Candace. Okay, let's see what Berkshire is saying. What do you say? I'm facing the issue of completely taking that leap. I'm straddling the fence on entrepreneurship and continuing to work. I'm a consultant as well. Okay, that's okay.
So I would say, Berkshire, what I've done is, I didn't, because I've got to eat. So I didn't just wake up one morning and say, I'm quitting my job. I didn't do that. I just had to put in that serious work. So I had to do two at one time. Until, and I'm still kind of transitioning all the way into my own. But you
are about there. I mean,
I am, and and I am.
I don't know how you're doing it.
I am, but you gotta make a decision, Berkshire. So again, if you're serious about it, you have to start building your business now while you're working in a business. Mm-hmm. And then any money you get, every single dime I get from Lead Square goes into a separate account that I don't even touch, because I'm using that money to build my business.
Yes.
Well, my first check. Now, hold on. Let me not tell that lie. My first check. I treated myself real good on that first check. But that was the last time I spent any money from Lead Square.
Wow.
So Berkshire, you got to do it. Berkshire, you absolutely have to do it. Lene, I saw that you want to write a book. Lene, write the book.
Yes. And I have the Authorship Academy, so we're going to dive into some things. So so you can get into writing your book in 2019. We do that in 90 days. Right. So there's a lot of influence here, and I'm really excited about that. And one of the things you said is really pivotal, and I'm just want to touch on the timing, because a lot of what I see and what I hear is that you work your job from 9 to 5. You build your dream from 5 to 9. So basically, when you are not at your job, you're in grind mode.
Absolutely.
You're in grind mode. Like I said, there's so much time that we have in the day that we don't even take advantage of. I remember Steve Harvey going through this scenario in the mornings. A lot of times I listen to him at 6 o'clock, and he'll talk about, one morning he talked about, and we're going to close with this, but he talked about how you get up, you drive, you take your hour or so to get ready for work. You drive perhaps an hour and a half to work. That's 3 hours of your day. Then you work your job, right? That's another 8 hours. So where are we at? 11, 12. You slept for 8 hours before that. So now you're at 16 hours. So you have really not a whole lot of time. You have about another 8 hours in the day, if that. Now you're thinking about when after work, I gotta chill, I gotta relax because I worked all day. Okay, so now you watch 2 shows. That's 2 more hours. You gotta eat. That's an hour. You shower, get yourself together. Your day is gone. If you're not intentional about every single second, particularly if you know or have a desire to really go from perhaps being a potential partial entrepreneur to a full-time entrepreneur, those are the types of rituals and things that you really need to do. And I know I see Tamisha on here, and I'm just waiting for her to comment, because like I said, she's taken that leap and she's gone full-time, and now she has tons of employees and she's doing so many things. Those are the types of things that bosses do, right? Yeah. Tamisha, I want you to put a 1 in the box if you're still on there, because these are the types of things that you do, or give us some comments, because it's really, really critical that when we're not working for somebody else's dream, we got to be working on our own. Absolutely. And if you're not willing to work on your own dream, you might as well go ahead and just keep working for somebody else.
You're exactly right. And I would say, a lot of times people, this is what I would say. If you are ready to write a book, be a consultant, be an engineer, or be an entrepreneur, do whatever you want to do, you got to get off Facebook. Because if people spend the amount of time on their own dream that they do just posting on somebody else's things, you'd have your business. You'd have whatever you're doing. So you've got to figure out how you're using your time. So I would say that now, if you are an entrepreneur, you got to be on Facebook, because that's how I'm getting clients. That's how I'm drawing people. So this is what most people don't know. On my Facebook page, hardly nothing comes up on my wall. So I don't know when people say, "Oh, I posted it on Facebook." I'm like, I didn't see it. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Facebook strictly to promote myself and strictly to promote my business.
Yeah.
So I don't know when people are like, "Oh, did you see it?" No, I didn't see it.
I know.
I don't want to get caught up in other people's business. I got to be about my own business. So that time that I spent on Facebook laughing at jokes and memes and watching videos and all of these things.
Right. You know what? That is hard. It's hard. And you want to be genuine, right? Because you want to interact with people and you want them to know it's not all about that, but you really do want to kind of get in and get out. You kind of, and I don't really like to plan posts, but it's really, but I can understand when people do it because it's really tough to spend your time working in your business or working at your job before you go to start working in your business and post as many times throughout the day as people, are really trying to have you post. Yeah. It's tough. I mean, that really social media is a whole job in and of itself.
You know what? It is. It truly is its own job. But like I always say, how bad do you want it?
Listen.
So while you're on Facebook, if you're an entrepreneur and you need Facebook to help market your business, then that really should be your purpose on Facebook.
Yeah.
Not jumping into, all kind of, like I said, watching fight videos and, all the, like that's
foolishness.
Use your time on your own business. Because what you're doing every time you're on Facebook and you're in other people's business, I mean, all you're doing is helping Mark Zuckerberg get even richer. Like he has his already. Now it's time to get yours, and you can do it. Candace did have a question. She said, "Can you speak to how important mentorship is to entrepreneurship?" Candace, I actually have a lot of entrepreneurs who are my mentors because there were some things, and they might not even know that they're my mentors, but they are because I reach out to them a lot for guidance. I reach out to them for assistance because when you're an entrepreneur, you've got to know how to market. You've got to know how to go after contracts. You've got to know all of these things that it takes to be an entrepreneur. So mentorship is critical. So find people who you can connect with, who can help you be that person that you can bounce ideas off of. Because sometimes I'll come up with something, I'm like, this is fantastic. And then I'll share with the mentor, they're like, oh no, or maybe you should do it like this. So mentorship is critical.
Wow. Yes, it truly, truly is. And thank you for that question, Candace. And thank you for joining us. I also see Karen. Yes, she also commented, use your time on your own dream. Yes. Right. Yes. Thank you again, Karen, for joining us. You guys have to kind of go back. Like I said, if it's your first time, you have work to do. You have to go back a couple episodes and really catch up. We have some phenomenal folks in. So, hey, Karen, thank you so much. Lynette Carroll, we have so many amazing guests. And I just want to say thank you again. And thank you, Monifa, because you have helped me tremendously. And like I said, I'm standing on your shoulders, on the shoulders of greatness. And I'm just so excited to have you here. And thank you for sharing who you are with us. And I'm just excited for all the people who are going to now say yes, because you said yes.
They're going to say bigger. Bigger,
right? Nah, bigger.
Bigger. Bigger. So whatever dream you have, it's really this big. So now you're going to go bigger.
Absolutely. Yes. I think we can all agree that just doing a little bit more than what you did the day before, gradually, constantly doing just a little bit more than what you did the day before. Like we said, doing your work from 9 to 5 and working on your stuff from 5 to 9 as much as possible. Clearly, that's a cliche. But yes, you have to invest in yourself. You have to take the time to do the things that you need to do for you because nobody else is going to do it. So I'm excited. Thank you so much. And thank you to all of you who have joined us, who will watch it on the replay. I'm excited too. I have to just pause and say, we really just made 1 month in the podcast. We started May the 1st. And we have cumulative over our episodes, over 1,000 views. And so I thank you because, listen, like I said, this was not something that I planned to do. This was something that just kind of was a labor of love. And I'm enjoying every minute of it. And I'm excited for all of you who are on here. Listen, yes, Candace, you have to plan to be an entrepreneur. Yes. So I'm just so excited. And thank you for your input. It makes a huge difference. And so with that, I'm just going to say good night to everybody. But I want to catch you guys again next week. We have another phenomenal guest. And another thing you guys can look out for this summer, because like I said, I'm feeling summerish. Monifa is truly feeling summer. She has her flowers on. we are going to be doing a special episode the week of the 4th of July. It's called All Things Summer. And it's going to have a ton of different guests on. We're going to be talking about some phenomenal things. Thank you so much, Karen. We appreciate that. So I want to make sure that you guys are chiming in every single week. So Wednesday is between love and hate. Make sure you chime in to see Monifa. And then on Thursday, come back and join us. And make sure you keep your notebook handy because that's for you guys. You got to put in that work, right? The actionable to-dos are super important, and they're all for you guys. So with that,
can I say one thing?
Every single week, I'm going to encourage you guys to stay out of your lane and command your life's highway. Monifa, you had a comment?
If you want to reach me, you can reach me at info@leadsquare, that's LEADSQUARE LLC.com. info@leadsquarellc.com.
Yep, let me post it right here to make sure. Yep, info@leadsquare.com. Hold on, I think I messed up.
And thank you so much for having me. This was a blast. I'm so super proud of you. Every time you do something, you do it to an entirely different level.
Thank you.
My issue with you will forever be rest and take yourself sometimes.
I'm going to claim it. I'm not even going to be shy. I'm going to claim it. Thank you so much.
I'm super proud of you. You make me so proud, and you always make me feel like I need to do more and I need to do what I'm doing better. So thank you for that. No, seriously,
I don't think it's possible for you to do more.
Well, the more you do, you're not giving me a choice. When I see you do something, I'm like, well, I guess I got to do more now. And thank you so much.
Like you said, we try to hang around with other people who are doing what we're doing. So I'm just encouraged. I'm encouraged by everybody on here. Thank you so much for your time. And because I know it's valuable, I know you don't get a lot of it to just spread around. So I feel truly blessed to have you on. I'm grateful. And I will definitely be checking you out next week. Hubby and I will popcorn to laugh and joke and between love and hate. So yes, thank you guys so much. And you guys have a blessed week on purpose, with purpose. And with that, we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.